Why does your borderline girlfriend forget entire conversations and entire events? I never said that, she tells you. I never did that. That must have been your other girlfriend. That wasn't me. But you know different. You were there. You maybe even have it recorded on video. So this is Mike, and this is the One Thing That Heals BPD and NPD Abuse channel. And in my new book, How I Survived My Borderline Girlfriend, I tell you exactly what I did to completely understand what was really going on in that relationship. And I tell you exactly what I did to absolutely, completely heal myself of the pain of narcissistic abuse. I got myself out of the trauma pause. I got myself off of the trauma wheel of death. And I don't have any pain whatsoever. And I have no negative feelings. I'm not angry with her. I don't think about her. In fact, the truth is, I'm trying to remember her name. Seriously, I'm not kidding. I forgot her name. Her name is... There, now I've remembered it. Imagine being like that, not even remembering what her name was. That's how dispassionately connected you could be without being in denial. Get the book. I tell you exactly how to do it. All right, so your borderline girlfriend dissociates. This is why she forgets conversations and events. She's not doing it on purpose. I'm not saying there aren't that wouldn't lie and pretend to say something didn't happen when it really did. But for the most part, if you're in a romantic relationship with her, she is dissociating much of the time. What does that mean? Well, dissociation is what happens when you are in an extreme state of trauma. You literally go away. Now, dissociation doesn't only mean that you go catatonic. That, of course, is a form of dissociation. No, dissociation means that you yourself just go away from what's happening. But your body and your brain might continue as though nothing has happened. I guarantee you there are times that you are with your borderline and she's not home. She's communicating with you, she's doing things, you think she's there, and I promise you she's not. Or worse yet, you might have conversations and events that go on where she really was there, completely emotionally invested and completely in the situation, but then she will forget about it. And she will forget about it for the same reason that they dissociate when they're aware that it's too painful. They'll go through it and feel fine, and then the fear will hit them. The paranoia will hit them. And then in an attempt to stay normal, they just erase it. They just erase that off of their hard drive. Not only that, they might have, in their mind, they might have fantasized an event with you that they remember, that they think is true, but isn't. So, look, if you haven't figured it out by now, you might be trying to figure out what borderline personality disorder is. It's a very serious mental illness. It's a form of psychosis. What is psychosis? Psychosis is when, at least for some of the time, you are not in rational connection with objective reality. You have a fantasy life that you think is real, and you can't tell the difference between your fantasy life and objective reality. You, if you're with a borderline, you're not psychotic. You're not suffering from psychosis. You're suffering from neurosis. You know what objective reality is, but you have this cognitive disconnect that makes you wonder, why am I with somebody that's so destructive? But your body and your emotions tell you, because I will die if I'm away from her. The worst part is you remember all those things. Borderlines dissociate when they split. So you remember when you tried to explain to your borderline that time that she split on you and she called you a horrible person and she threw knives at you and all these horrible things, and she says, that didn't happen. That's not at all what happened. And she might have a completely different story. You walked in and you had 3 heads, and you stood on your head and you started reciting Shakespeare, and I just couldn't take that. You're like, what? I never did that. So you're in 2 different realities here. Dissociation is very serious. They will dissociate when things are frightening. So if you get angry, they might dissociate. But they will also dissociate when you're deeply in love with them. When you are showing them the most love and the most vulnerability and they feel it, this could cause them to completely dissociate. When you're having sex with them, they could completely dissociate. What it means is that physically they could be totally into it. Like their body is there and they're enjoying it like nobody's business, but they themselves are watching it. They're like sitting there watching two people having sex and they're not there. They've left their body. This is a form of dissociation. Borderlines will say, that wasn't me. So if you've heard your borderline say, when you said this, she'll go, I didn't say that, that wasn't me. It may not mean that she doesn't remember what happens. She may remember that, yesterday there was that curly-haired, red-haired girl with blue eyes, and she did in fact have sex with you. I saw it, but it wasn't me. This sounds pretty extreme, and maybe your borderline doesn't dissociate to that extreme, but they do dissociate. And so, again, if you understand how serious this mental illness is, you'll know how ridiculous it is for you to try and have a normal functioning romantic relationship. You'll find out how sadly ridiculous it is for you to have a hope that she's going to change, because this isn't something that goes away. If they get into therapy for years, DBT, regular group therapy, and do the workbook, there's a possibility they might be able to get some control over their symptoms, but they'll never stop being borderline. And you're never going to have that beautiful, sweet, love-bombing little sex kitten that you had that first couple of weeks or first month or whatever it was. That person's never coming back. And if you can accept that, you'll be that much closer to freeing yourself from the pain that you're in. So in my book, How I Survived My Borderline Girlfriend, I tell you exactly what I did to completely 100% heal myself of the pain of narcissistic abuse. I no longer have any pain associated with the relationship, not angry. I'm not pining over her. I don't miss her. I don't sociopathically, forget that she existed. No, I remember who she was. I remember that we were together, and I now look back on it and realize that it wasn't at all what I thought. Not only did she not love me because she wasn't capable, but because I was in such a state of neurosis because of being in that kind of abusive relationship, I also couldn't truly love her either. And so I look back at the whole thing with philosophical acceptance. And, again, the opposite of love is not hate. So if you're filled with rage at your borderline, it means you still love her. Sorry. If you want to really say, be truthful and say, no, I am no longer in love with her and I don't want to get back with her, then if you're also filled with rage, you're lying to yourself. You still love her. You want to be free of that rage? There's only one thing you can do, and that is to do the one thing. And the great thing about the one thing is, it's not me. I mean, if I could package the one thing and do seminars, I could be a billionaire. I could make a ton of money off of it. But you're not going to pay me a dime. It's not going to cost you anything. You don't even have to leave your house if you don't want to. But if you follow my instructions to the letter, you can be completely free of your pain. And if you don't believe me, I challenge you to do everything I suggest. It won't cost you anything. You can do it from home in your spare time. And if you do what I did, within a couple of months, I was completely free and totally healed. Go get the book, How I Survived My Borderline Girlfriend. You can get it on audiobooks.thunderwizard.com. And if you look for it on my channel, I tell you what to do. So that's it, my friends. It's not your fault. You're not crazy. You did say those things. You did do those things. And she was dissociated. That's why she doesn't remember. She's got a mental illness. It's not her fault. But most importantly, it's not your fault. It has nothing to do with you. I hope you find the healing in your life. And for borderlines, I hope you get the therapy that you need so that you can also find the healing that you need. Thank you so much for your time, and I shall see you next time. Take care.